Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. I am Demetra K of the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my beautiful moderators as you do a wonderful job in holding down the comment section. Like to say that we are going to be talking about Trump administration, specifically that of Secretary of HUD Scott Turner, saying that Section 8 is not meant for generations of able-bodied people. Now I'm going to show y'all a video of him being asked questions in regards to, I guess, them trying to overhaul Section 8 public housing and things like that. And, he told a very interesting story about, he says, a young lady that he met and the things that she said to him. And so, he is very adamant about overhauling it for a whole host of reasons that we've already heard about, right? But I just really think, I don't think a lot of us, when I say us, I mean collectively, really realize like what may come. And I think a lot of people have talked about it. Of course, a lot of us have been to the grocery store lately and we've seen the prices. I tell you, probably every week that I go to the grocery store, prices are higher, right? It's like, man, last week it wasn't that. Right now it's higher, and a whole host of things. If you drive around your city, you might see a lot of houses for rent or for sale. They said here, especially in Texas, I think it's the number one or one of the number ones, the states with the most foreclosures. So we're seeing a lot of things go on that may or may not have anything to do with the Trump administration. Some people say that it does, but obviously it's going to affect the poor more. And this is just another facet to the whole conversation. So we're going to have that conversation today. Hopefully we can have a respectable one, right? But let's give everybody else a moment to come on here. So I'll say hello to everybody before they do. Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Stephen, how you doing? Tell your wife I said hello. Sister Shirley, how are you doing today? Tracy in the building. Doug, what is going on with you? Radical One Resistance, how are you? Diane, hope you're having a great day. Kevin, what is up with you? Vanessa, Jersey, Rick, Rex, how are you doing today? My aunt, how you doing? Says Demetra, I truly appreciate your channel, and I truly appreciate you. So thank you. Baraka, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. Mars Dreams, what is going on? Ernest Special 150, how are you? Says happy Labor Day weekend. And you know what? I just realized that it was Labor Day weekend today, right? I guess Labor Day is technically Monday. Had no idea. Like holidays, they just kind of escape me now, right? I don't know why. I think it's probably because I'm getting old and I'm like, oh, it's Christmas. Had no idea, right? So yeah, it is Labor Day weekend for those of y'all who celebrate and all that, eat some ribs for me. I don't know. Let's see. Who else? Niners fan, how you doing? Good evening to you as well. Texas Barabbas, how you doing? Says, hi, Demetra. You're in Texas? Right on. God bless. Yes, I'm in Texas for now. I am. I cannot wait till it cools down because as y'all can see, I don't sweat really until I come on here. That's because my unit is right above me. Well, not my unit, but the vent. And so when it's on, I don't want it to disturb y'all, with the zzz. So I'll bump it up just a little bit. So unfortunately, I get hot and I sweat. But it looks like it might be cooling down next week. Thank God, right? And I also read somewhere where it says that we might have an early winter. It says something about El Nina, not El Nino, but El Nina, I think maybe coming early. And I guess that's going to signify when fall and winter starts. So it may start a little earlier, which I'm not mad at that, right? So we'll see. Anyway, November, how you doing? LaShonda, what's going on with you? Harley, how are you? Long time no see. And Albie, chill. Hope that you are doing well. Hope you are chilling. He says it's already cold in Ohio. Man, I can't wait till it gets cold here. Now, we have what they call, I shouldn't be telling y'all in Ohio, right? Because y'all get snow and stuff. But we get this thing called the Texas freeze, where it gets like below 20 for a couple of days, like in the early part of the year. So you got to bleed your pipes and all of that, right? I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Southern California girl. I'm not used to all of that, right? I'm out there bleeding the pipes and stuff and, you know, leaking the faucets. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a lady. I'm not supposed to be doing that. But don't get it twisted. I know how. So, Mike Nice, hello. Lord Flawless, how you doing? Says you still got about a good 4 more months of heat. Well, not this hot heat though, right? Like next week, it looks like it's going to be in the low 80s. I can deal with that. I can deal with low 80s because listen, I'm from Southern California where it's dry heat, but this moisture here, it's a lot. So yeah. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. 48 TCO, how you doing? Emmy says, did I make it on time? Yep, I'm just about to get started. And let's see here. Arson, how you doing? I'm doing well. I cannot complain. And if I could, I wouldn't. Brother Perry, how you doing? Says starting to cool off here in Virginia. Also, I'm jealous. I kid you not. I'm so jealous. Black, red, white, and blue. How you doing? He says, yep. Up here in Dallas, we get a little colder than H-Town. Yeah, y'all get really cold, right? So yeah. All right, let's get started. Anyway, man, 6 minutes. I've been talking that long. Hey, Tyrone, how you doing? Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I saw this, and the direction says it's 66% humidity here in Mobile. It's probably hotter, more humid than that here in Texas. Anyway, so I was on TikTok, and I saw that HUD Secretary Scott Turner was being asked a question in regards to, you know, Section 8 and things like that. If you didn't know, Scott Turner was appointed, or I guess confirmed, as the HUD Secretary this year, obviously Trump administration. And a lot of people describe him as, oh, he's an ex-football player, but he's a little bit more than that. Yes, he did play in the NFL for a couple of teams or whatever, but he also was a representative for the 33rd District in Texas from, I think it said, 2013 to 2017. So, you know, he's in politics, and he also did something else in the White House before he got the job of HUD Secretary. So he's not a stranger to politics, right? Because a lot of times when people describe him, they describe him, oh, he just, you know, like Herschel Walker type thing. I think he's a little bit more elevated than Herschel Walker. Now, I did research Mr. Scott Turner's background as a politician. So it basically says that he's opposed to affordable housing, was not really into helping homeless, you know, people and things like that. He felt like welfare was one of the most destructive things for families. So he felt like, hey, everybody needs to bootstrap it, right? You should be held responsible for yourself. You don't really kind of need welfare type of thing. And it says that he allowed discrimination by landlords. You know, that's rampant, right? Depending on where you live everywhere, right? Sometimes landlords like to discriminate and all that. Well, I guess per some legislation, he was like, I don't see the problem, right? So I'm just kind of giving you a little background. But anyway, here is the questions that he was answering. Hey, Easy, how you doing? So here we go.
I was curious about some of the time limits on housing assistance. This is, you know, housing that's already built that impacts millions of Americans. You know, you spoke a little bit that some of the concern there was fraud, but I was wondering if there's, you know, any worry about, you know, you could be pushing out families who are dependent on these HUD programs, that, you know, this is really the only avenue they have to get housing.
You're talking about the proposed time limits?
Yeah, that's right.
And what is your question?
Just if there's any concern about whether you're, you know, be pushing out families that need.
No, there's no concern at all. Government subsidies were never meant to be a lifestyle. Have you ever met somebody that live in government housing? Personally?
I have.
I met hundreds of people around our country. Government subsidies were never meant to be a hammock. They're meant to be a trampoline. We're always going to have people in our nation that need help. And we understand that from the heart of HUD. We understand that we'll have these people. I met a young lady in a certain city in our country that's been living in a certain housing project, which was deplorable. She's 52 years old. She's been living there since 1953. Oh, excuse me, she's 52 years old. She's been living there since 1973. She's able-bodied, able-minded. She was raised there. She lived there. Now she's raising her children there. There's 3 generations living in government subsidies that are able-bodied, able-minded. That's not the way that our government and our country is supposed to be. And so when you talk about time limits are kind of an encouragement. It's like, hey, you can do this. Now remember, we're talking about able-bodied, able-minded people, not seniors, not the disabled. people who are able to work, people who have the ability to work, people who have the mental acuity to work and look for work, right? When you change the trajectory of someone's future by saying, you know what, we're not just telling you to work, we're going to have workforce training around you, we're going to have skill training around you to get out of government subsidies to live a life of self-sustainability. This is not Democrat, it's not Republican. Poverty has no party. You understand? Poverty is not red, it's not blue, it's not black, it's not white. It impacts everyone, indirectly or directly. So my heart, the president's heart, Senator Crapo's heart is this: how do we help able-bodied people change the conversation and say, you know what, you can do it. This is not political. This is, you know what, you can. So we're going to put time limits on here and help you to traject out of poverty, out of government subsidy to a life of self-sustainability. That's the heart behind this. Go and research Bill Clinton's bill 1996 when they did real welfare reform.
I was just going to
remember that. You don't remember, you're too young.
I'm too young.
But go research that.
All right, so I'm gonna remove Mr. Scott Turner. So again, y'all heard him basically say he had a conversation with a young lady who was 52, right? It's 52 is young, I'm 54. Anyway, I digress. And she's the third generation to live in, he says, a very deplorable housing project, right? So I guess she's been there since 1973. Probably she was born, right? That's when she would have lived there, 1973 when she was born. And she's the third generation. I guess she'd be the second. No, she's the second, and I guess she's raising her children. So they're the third generation living in public housing. And of course, we've seen a lot of that, right? Where the living conditions are not that good. So of course, he reiterated and said, hey, this is not about the seniors and disabled, right? They're good. We're not worried about them. We're more or less talking about the able-bodied, right? And he said that that young lady was able-bodied, right? So it wasn't like she had anything wrong with her per se, where she couldn't go out and work and pay rent or whatever the case is. So he says it's not necessarily that we're just putting them off. We want to, you know, give them training and things like that. But the conversation was really around timelines, right? Like how long is too long? What is long enough? Because I see in the comment section, I'm going to get in there. We all know somebody, because he asked the guy, you ever know anybody on Section 8 or public housing? And it doesn't sound like the guy maybe did, but we all do or have known somebody. And yeah, we know some people who are just like, yep, been here for a long time, right? And, you know, they appear to be able-bodied from what we can see. But then he also mentioned Bill Clinton at the end. And so I think what he was really saying is, well, Bill Clinton kind of did the same thing. And so I'm going to read to you what that was. So it says, Bill Clinton's 1996 Welfare Reform, official name, Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act, signed into law August 22nd, 1996. Again, it's Bill Clinton. So it ended welfare as we know it, right? That was the quote, welfare as we know it. It was Clinton's famous phrase, replaced the old welfare program, AFDC, aid to families with dependent children, with TANF, temporary assistance for needy families, imposed work requirements. Recipients had to work or prepare for work to receive aid. So back then they had programs like GAIN, right? To where if you were on welfare, whatever it is, you could go and they'll get you like clothing and babysitting. And if you want to go to school, they pay for your books. So it was like, there really is no reason, right? You know? So anyway, there was set a 5-year lifetime limit on receiving federal welfare benefits, gave more control to the states over how they spent welfare funds, block grants. Now, it was controversial because the impact on poor families. Critics said it punished the poor, especially single mothers, by pushing them off welfare without providing enough job support or child care. Many families were cut off from aid, even if they still needed help. Now, racial implications, the reform was seen as targeting Black and brown communities, reinforcing negative stereotypes about welfare recipients. It also says long-term effects, while welfare rolls dropped dramatically, poverty and deep poverty, people living on less than $2 a day increased for some. Supporters claimed it encouraged self-reliance and reduced government dependency, but critics said it left people behind, especially during economic downturns, which, as I alluded to, we may be approaching that, right? And it's not just for them, but for everybody. Anyway, So it said it divided the Democrats. Many liberals and civil rights activists opposed the bill, but Clinton signed it anyway, seen as part of his strategy to move the Democrat Party to the center and appeal to conservative voters. Now it says it's still debated today. Some view it as necessary reform, while others see it as a betrayal of the poor. Critics said it laid the groundwork for a more punitive approach to poverty in American policy. Okay, so basically that's what he was alluding to. Like, okay, well, Bill Clinton did it. Bill Clinton did it. 1996, again, he signed it into law. He put a time limit on it, right? So that's the argument, the time limit, because again, we all kind of know people who have, been on there for a minute, a long minute, or whatever. And so they're saying, yeah, we be better off setting some time limits. That way, when you're going to get off. But in the process, you are going to be able to retrain, figure out a way, because it's like, we're not going to just cut you off, but we're going to give you an opportunity for a leg up. But notice he said it's meant to be a trampoline and not a hammock. And I was like, whoa, right? Because when you think about a hammock, what are you doing? You're chilling, right? You're swinging, the breeze is blowing, and you're chilling. You're hanging out like, I'm good. I'm comfortable. I'm not going to move. But a trampoline, you're moving around, you're bouncing around, you're mobile. So I guess that's kind of what he's saying, public housing is for that. So I want to ask y'all, is he and the Trump administration on the money, off the mark? Is it tone deaf? Like, I want to hear your opinion on it. But I think at this point, most people, we all kind of knew it would get to this point. So I want to see what y'all have to say. So hopefully I can go all the way back to the top. I don't know if I should, because I'll be here all day. Let's see. I'm going to try, though. Let's see. Who haven't I seen? Okay, I think I saw everybody so far. Going back down. Okay, y'all not really typing that much. Give me 1 second. November says, didn't know you was from Southern California, Ms. Demetra. You're refreshing. Oh, well, thank you. Yes, Southern California, born in Northern California, raised in Southern California. I didn't stay that long. When I say my family didn't stay that long in Northern California. I was born in Berkeley. We lived in Oakland for a minute. Then we went to Louisiana for a minute. And then we went back to Southern California. My daddy born in Los Angeles. So yes. Charles, how you doing? Says, hey, give people good paying jobs so they can pay their own rent. Oh, they gave all the jobs to illegals the past 4 damn years. Yeah, that's another thing too, right? What jobs are you retraining them for? Are they being retrained for sustainable jobs, right? Where they can pay the rent and things like that? Because we know, especially now, the national minimum wage is $7.25. So where can anybody find rent or anything like that for $7.25 an hour? So yeah, I agree with you. Let's see who else is on here. King Noble, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Stephen James, yes, you caught alive. Yes, indeed. Miss Tiffany says, I know someone who has Section 8 for a long time, then moved out of state and left the apartment with the Section 8 with her daughter, a few decades of Section 8. Yes, so sounds like people do that, right? Like, well, I don't need it. I actually know some people who have done that. They just keep passing it on, I guess, for whatever reason they can. Now, of course, I believe this was started, the HUD division, if you will, in 1965 under the LBJ administration, right? So yeah, that's quite a while, especially if you could pass it on. Roz, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Love and blessings to you. Emmy says, we bootstrap it when you hate us, stop employment discrimination. Yeah, there's also an argument for us to build our own, right? We should be having that conversation. Byron, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. Let's see. November says that them New Orleans females better get ready. He says, because all that baby having voucher stuff, boy, I just want to see what New Orleans is fixing to be. Well, they're going to put a time limit on it, right? So with the time limit, they're going to give them some things to do so they can get training. So hopefully they'll take advantage of that, right? And hopefully they get the good training so they can go and get good jobs. That's where it should be, especially if you're able-bodied, right? You're able-bodied, Is there really a reason why you should just be staying on the system? Because people fall down or whatever the case is, and they need help. That's why it's called temporary. But if you're on there, you're able-bodied and you just on there, yeah, that might be a problem. You know what I mean? Tracy says, is the pay going to go up with this plan? Yep, that's a good question. Albie Chill says, so they're going to make sure there's jobs that pay a livable wage so they can pull themselves up by the bootstraps? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. You know, and they should be talking about raising minimum wage because somebody's got to do the job, right? So might as well make it like California. The restaurant industry, I think, is like $21 an hour, give or take. So yeah, Power Moves, how you doing? Says, what happens when these jobs go away? Well, it won't even just be for them. It'll be for everybody, right? We're seeing people in these high-rise buildings, these corporate jobs and stuff, at these AI jobs. They losing their jobs too, right? San Francisco, the tech industry, if you will, a lot of them lost their jobs, you know? So it's not just going to be for the people on Section 8. It's going to be for everybody. How will you feed yourself? You know, will you be eligible to get you some welfare? You know, and I don't know. I was talking to my daughter earlier. I said, I don't know. I just get like Great Depression vibes. Not like that I'm depressed, but like Great Depression, 1929, esque, if you will. Like that's kind of maybe coming up the pipes. And I don't think people really realize that. I just kind of get that feeling. Stevie says, I'm 52. You young. Diane says, why didn't they rather give our people bank loans like they did the clear people? Now, you know why they didn't do that. They wanted to keep that systemic and institutional racism going. Carrie, how you doing? Says, just laid off over 300,000 so-called Black women. Where are the jobs? Yeah, but with those Black women being laid off, they laid off Black men too, you know, but they never really talk about that. And it's so divisive. Oh, 300,000 Black women lost their jobs. So the Black men all got to stay at work. No Black man lost their job, you know, and yeah, it's sad that many Black women lost jobs, you know. But the question we should be asking now is, what can we build for ourselves that's sustainable, right? Which is why I like the book. Let me see, where is it? Here it is. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Okay, and I'm going to say this with so much love. Did I tell y'all I love y'all today? If not, I really love y'all. If you have not read this book, stick yourself. I mean that lovingly. Stick yourself. Because he talks about that in this book, right? He talks about how we all went off. When I say we, you know, our folks, back in the day, we went off and got those degrees, right? We got the ologies, all the ology degrees. But then people stopped learning how to be a plumber, a blacksmith, and, you know, construction and all that. We just, I don't want to do that, right? I want to do this prestigious stuff. So now we don't have cleaners or any of the stuff we used to have, right? So we got to get back to having this conversation. The miseducation is that Black people back then, and this book was written, I think, the late 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. But the miseducation was that Black people went off to these, you know, institutions, these learning institutions. A lot of them were white institutions. And yeah, they learned, you know, psychology or whatever it is. But they also learned, like, of whiteness. Not that they were white, but they learned from whiteness. And so there was a lot of resentment because when they finished school and they came back to the communities, they resented them other Black people. That's kind of how you get the boule, right? You Negroes, you know, that's kind of how they felt. But the rub was the white people that they were going to school with and all that. They're like, we're not going to hire you. Yep. Yeah, we know you got that good white degree per se, but we're not going to hire you. But your people can't afford to hire you. But while you were getting those educations, y'all let all the stuff that y'all used to do go to the Asians, Hispanics, everybody else, right? Where's the Black grocery? Now, I know what happened to it with the Wall Streets and stuff, but I'm saying at some point in time, we got to get back to this, right? So that was a little commercial break. Anyway, moving right along. Sharon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Buckhorse in the building. Cynthia, how you doing? Let me skip down a little bit, y'all, so I can catch up. King Shaw, how you doing? Says, remember Bill Clinton did it too. Yep. So I know I'm terribly behind, so let me catch up a little bit. Let's see. Alicia, you says during the 90s, I knew several young ladies that got degrees and or a trade and were able to come off the system. Yeah, I knew people too. They were able to like really put that to use, right? But I don't know. Do they even do that anymore? I don't even know. You know, because most of the women I grew up with that were in that situation, I mean, their kids is grown now, right? So I don't even know if they still do that. King Shaw says a lot of Democrat policies hurt FBAs as well. That is absolutely true. Let's see. Brother Reggie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Drama City Hip Hop, how you doing? Says, I have a cousin who has been on Section 8 since the year 2000. She's healthy, still young, and refuses to try. Yeah, so usher in the timeline that the Trump administration wants to bring into fruition is like, oh, so I got to do something. Yeah. You're going to have to get up off it, you know, but yeah, 2000 is crazy, you know, but the other thing is are people that are getting this public housing Section 8 because it's, you know, deeply discounted, are they saving money? You know, that if this happens, hey, Tisha, how you doing? Let's see. He says, I agree to an extent. I don't know about other states, but in New York, there's a home ownership component included in Section 8. For the life of me, I don't know why people do not take advantage of that. Because it's like, who gonna make me? You know, I don't know. It sounds like there's no timeline, right? Not right now, but if they bring in this timeline now, it's like, ooh, let me go on down there and see about these programs, you know? But it's like, who gonna make me do it? I don't want to go to do a program. That means I gotta work. So yeah, Brother Reggie says a trampoline, not a hammock. I'm gonna use that. You and me both, okay? 48 TCL says, I like the idea, but a lot of things would have to change and work cohesively for this transition to work. Housing, minimum wage, healthcare, taxes, etc. Yeah, all of that has to work in tandem. But I think for the most part, it's like, you know, what can you do for yourself? Start there. Now, I don't necessarily know if they got all the kinks and things worked out or whatever the case is, but it sounds like they're dead set on the timeline. What that timeline is, I don't know. I think maybe I heard, was it 5 years? I know that was Bill Clinton's, but I don't know what their timeline that they're proposing is. But yeah, I think that's kind of where they're going. What can you do for yourself? And unfortunately, as I was telling somebody earlier, the people who have been abusing it, they are going to harm the people who really need it, right? And I'm not talking about the disabled and seniors because they're good, but people who really need it, who are down on their luck, they're unfortunately going to get lumped in with the people who are abusing it. And that's the cold part, you know? So yeah. Tahada, how you doing? Says there are more Black people in Maine than California now, which is crazy, okay? The last time I checked, it was like less than 6% of Black people in California. Corey, how you doing? Say exactly. Tracy, you say for those that aren't trying to make them, but they have to be realistic people now. I think it meant know that it says have decent jobs now, can afford their rent or mortgage. So you say people who have decent jobs now can afford it. Yeah. And the operative word is decent, right? It has to be decent. So yeah, you also say you have to make 3 times your rent, which is ridiculous. That's the other thing, right? 3 times your rent in order to get into some of these places. It's like, who making all that? Now there's some people, right? But those are the stipulations they put on there. So let's say if the rent is, I don't know, depending on where you live, $2,000, that means you got to be making $6,000 a month. A lot of people aren't making $6,000 a month. They're just not. Ayo, God, how you doing? What's really good with you? God is my boss. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let me skip down so I can catch up. Boss player, how you doing? Says, how does someone else being on Section 8 personally affect your daily life? It doesn't. The rich like welfare only when it benefits them. Well, it doesn't necessarily affect my daily life, but if you want to deduce it or break it down, if you're a taxpayer, it affects your life to that degree, right? Now, me personally, as I said, I don't mind. Not at all, right? I don't have no issues with seniors and disabled people get it, I think they should get it, right? If you disabled and you're senior, as I said, you're a senior, you pay taxes your whole life, you pay for everybody else potentially to be on the system with your tax dollars. So yeah, seniors, you good. You should never have to pay. I don't think seniors should have to pay rent nowhere. I think they should automatically be good, right? I don't think we should still be seeing people greeters at Walmart at 70 years old, right? I think that should be a thing of the past. But it does affect your life when able-bodied people who are just like, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't old. I don't have no disabilities. I'm just here, right? I think that affects your life because God knows something. I kid you not. This morning, I was, because I go to menopause, I don't stay asleep. So when I wake up, I always have just different thoughts or just different things, just kind of part of it. Man, I swear for God and all 12 disciples, I said, God, I'm tired of working. Make me rich. I said that. I fell asleep. So the point that I'm making is I would love to sit at home and have somebody else pay for it. I would love to do that. So it affects you in that way. Are you able to do that? You have somebody paying your bills and you're able-bodied. So I think that's where the conversation really should be. I could be wrong because usually I am. 48 TCO says, but with all those workers' rights programs being cut and closed, what work they want people to do? Well, I don't know. I don't know. But, if you study the Great Depression, they said that's one of the times where the most millionaires were created was during and after the Great Depression. Now, I don't need to give y'all no history lesson about the Great Depression, but it was depressing, right? It was bad. There was not a chicken in every pot, as the slogan was. Oh, we want to make sure we put a chicken in every pot. It was barely a bean in every pot, right? Now, especially for Black Americans, white folks was getting it, but we was getting it 35,000 times over, right? But then that's when you had people that was like, okay, what can I do? What do I know how to do? What gifts do I have? What talents do I have, right? And they figured that out and they became wealthy. Again, I'm not one of those people or leaders like people don't need the system. I think people should be able to get it when you need it. But we're talking about the able-bodied people that have been on it for a minute and ain't trying to get off it. That's what we're talking about. We ain't talking about people who need it. We ain't talking about seniors. We're not talking about disabled. We're talking about the people who are able-bodied. See, I'm able-bodied. I'm 54, but don't get it twisted. I'm able-bodied. Right? And I still get up every day, and I try to put, if it's $1 in my bank account, and it ain't always easy, but I couldn't take myself down to the welfare office and say, hey, I'm tired. Can you just give me, I need somebody to pay for my housing and, give me a food stamp or two. They're going to be like, if you don't beat it, that's what they would tell me. Right? So I'm just having a conversation. Gloria, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Texas Barabbas, she says, if we deport over 45 million illegal aliens, there will be more houses and housing, more jobs, more resources, and it will be easier for Americans. Is that many people over here that's illegal? Yeah, and I don't think they should be getting help before American citizens do. Most definitely not. I don't think that they should be. So me and you agree on that. All right. Brother Reddy says, how does that saying go, Sister Demetra? Only a pole rat has but one hole. That's what my mama used to always say. God rest her soul. Only a poor rat has but one hole. If you got one job, you got one hole. The premise to that is, when they find a rat hole, because, let's say you got a rat in your house, you find a rat hole, it's like, oh, that's where that sucker be coming in and out. Y'all watch Tom and Jerry? You gonna board it up. Bam. So the rat is like, if he's outside of the hole, I can't get back in the hole, right? What I was gonna do? But a smart rat was like, that's all right, sucker. I done dug like 4 or 5 other holes in your crib. So if a rat is smart enough to dig some other holes so they can get back in or whatever, why don't we have some other sources of income? Whether you go to work, you come home and you do something for yourself for a couple of hours. What do you know how to do? That's what Mom used to always say. Find out what you do well and find out how you get people to pay you for it. Bam. So yes, only a poor rat has but one hole. All right. Tisha, you say, don't be surprised if the Democrats win back the House and the 28th presidential election. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I think they are. I think they will win back the House because I'm hearing that on both sides of the aisle, people are disenfranchised. Like, nah, Trump, you off the rails. We ain't vote for all of that. You know? So there's a lot of people I think are going to say, it was cute till it wasn't, right? We need some balance. We need somewhere in the middle, right? Common sense. Because right now you got two people too far on the left, which is why Kamala didn't get in there. Now Trump is all the way on the right, and people are like, nah, no. So yeah. Soul Glow, how you doing? He says he made some valid points, but now let's see him go across America and make the same points to town halls with whites and see if he makes it out. Yeah, and me personally, I didn't put a color on it because we know that white folks are on Section 8 more than black people, but black people are in public housing more than anybody else, right? So he'd really be talking to them because they're on Section 8 more than anybody. You know what I mean? So I know people like to peg us with that, y'all on welfare, but it's really them, So yeah, I didn't hear him mention a color, a race rather, of people, but just kind of, envisioning. Most people think that, he must be talking about black people. Now, I don't know. Was he the 52-year-old he talking about black? I don't know. MC Fact, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for asking everybody to hit the like button. Joy, what's going on with you? Says, what kind of jobs they training them for? College grads are moving back home because the cost of living is high. Yes, everybody gonna be moving back home. College grads, full-blown adults. Everybody gonna be moving back home. That's why they say they're creating these generational houses now, to where it's like you got grandparents, parents, and the children. They're all moving back, and there's some cases they're restructuring the home. So, okay, you have that part of the home for your family, and then we'll have this part upstairs, downstairs, or whatever the case is, because you're right. But I am starting to see real estate coming down a little bit because I check, right? But not enough, though. Not enough. Because like you said, with the real estate coming down, there's got to be jobs to have people be able to afford to buy houses and even rent. So, yeah, I agree. Albert Childy says, agree, Demetri. I've been talking to my family for years, stressing the importance of sticking together so that we can weather the depression that's coming upon us. Yeah. And I just think a lot of us aren't cognizant. We're not paying attention, right? If you pay attention, you'll see that something definitely is coming down the pipes, and it's not going to be good for anybody, because a lot of times people think, yeah, the poor is going to get hit, but poor people, middle class, spend money, right? Poor people spend money with the middle class, mom and pop businesses and things like that. And mom and pop businesses usually spend money with the people up here because they may be getting supplies and things like that. But when the people on this level, right, the working class, the proletariat, they stop spending, and the middle class was left of it, right? They're like, wait a minute, y'all ain't spending. It's like, we ain't got it. We can't get blood from a turnip, right? So this is going to trickle uphill, downhill, sideways. It's going to affect everybody. Just watch. In every neighborhood you go in, where there's wealthy neighborhoods, middle class neighborhoods, working class neighborhoods, you see houses for sale everywhere. And a lot of those are foreclosures. So yeah. Buckhorse says, I said it's going to get worse before it gets better. We still fighting for our freedom. Absolutely. Tiff, how you doing? Says affordable housing needs to be for everybody and not another term for Section 8 housing. Yeah, affordable housing should, I think, be for everybody, right? Everybody should be able to afford to pay for where they live. So most Americans pay nearly half of their income on housing, rent, mortgage, and, the other half surviving on all the other stuff you need. And it's just ridiculous. Like I said, 1995, I had a $9 an hour job. I was able to take care of myself, my daughter, car, basic stuff. I wasn't living high on the hog, but I was able to take care of us. $9 an hour. My rent was $325 for a 1-bedroom apartment in an area of, where I lived, where now it's, just up to do place, because they gentrified it anyway. But yeah, So Alicia, you say, yeah, I fear we may be heading toward a depression type scenario, learning to can and start gardening. The sad part is going to be that most of us live urban and can't sustain ourselves. Absolutely. Emily says, read it and need to reread it. Yep. Miseducation of the Negro. I'm just saying, Shy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Sherry, how you doing? Y'all know I do love y'all, but sometimes you feel like I need to say stuff because, yeah, this is a must read. Not even just for you, it's for your kids. Your children got to read this too. I sent this to most of the children that I know, and I sent it to my nephew. He's 16, and I tell you this, I'll call him a little boy, but it's my nephew. But he bakes. He learned how to bake from his mother. He bakes, and he takes those baked goods to school. He sells them, and he makes him some money. And guess what else this kid did? Not only does he bake the goods, takes them to school and sell them, he had 2 other people working for him. One at the school he's at, and then another one at another school. And I gave him this book. I'm just saying. And he's 16. He's a junior in high school. All right, so skipping down, I know I'm so behind, so forgive me. Let's see, Kathy, how you doing? Says there are plenty of white people in Section 8 homes. I should have read your comment. They disguise the homes. They just don't look like project. Yep, that's true. Yeah, you could... Some of these Section 8 vouchers, you can get you a nice house, right? In a nice neighborhood and all of that. So you're absolutely right. It's not just, broken window type situations. So yeah. Charles, you says, hey, y'all, it's hundreds of jobs on Indeed and all the job sites every day. I'm still looking for a job right now at 57 years old. Y'all, I'm looking for work now. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs, but a lot of those jobs is like, I ain't trying to be standing up at Costco asking, do you want a free sample? No shade, right? It's a job, but that's a long story. Easy says reparations would cure public housing problem. Yep, absolutely. Give us our money, right? Totally. Corey says Trump is right though. Okay. Naima, how you doing? He says I work my way off Section 8 in public assistance. I bought my home through a government program to assist with credit worthiness. There you go. So there's programs out there, right? It's doable. But a lot of people like, well, what about these people? Well, what about you? What about me? Like I said, just give me a food stamp card for 2 months. Give me 2 months. I have my refrigerator stacked. Man, yeah, I'll be eating greedy for a long time, right? But they ain't gonna give me one. Emmett, did I say hello to you? Not hello. It says in Maryland, we stop or reduce benefits if you're able-bodied. You have to show proof you aren't. There you go, right? Another thing too is don't be making people jump through hoops of fire. Like, okay, now stand on one leg and then hop on. Man, if you see these people need the help, just give it to them. Don't be taking them through no whole bunch of nonsense. Well, let me see all your bank accounts. Well, I guess maybe that you should, but let me see your mama bank account. Do you got any jewelry? Yes, my grandmama heirloom. Well, if you got that, you can't get no benefits. So you telling me I need to sell my grandmama ring that she was married with in 1927 in order for you to help me? That's why people be lying. Anyway, just reading through the comments. Don't believe media. How you doing? Says, what's good? Maz Chastity to Demetri, Section 8. Ben, very, very good to me. Laugh out loud, you crazy. Mr. Mystical, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Earth, Ocean, Moon, what's up? He said, I agree. I know families that have been in the PJs since the 60s. Dang near 3 generations is done got out of hand. Yeah, so I mean that stuff, right? If they're not disabled or seniors, or they 1960, I'm sure they probably are now, but Brother Reddy says over here, if you're able-bodied, they allow you to stay on unemployment for 6 months. If you find a job within 2 to 3 months, they'll give you a bonus, but they don't allow you to get government support forever. And over there is Tokyo or Japan, right? So yeah, but that's a good deal though. And I get a bonus if I go to work. Bet. Sweet Butters, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetri, here to give you my like. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It says my town is 6.7 black. And where are you at? Wow, where are you? What part of the country are you in? The truth is this. How you doing? It says people have to be hypnotized to work again. It was saying that's crazy. You will go back to work. But you know what the crazy part is? there's a lot of people who live in Section 8 and things like that. They work, right? They might sell some plates or whatever the case is on the table, because a lot of them do be having some money, but they're like, shoot, rent is too damn high. So, yeah. Cynthia says, I understand Secretary Scott Turner's decision and stand on reforming Section 8. He says there are still many people without good, reasonable paying jobs. And also, I hear the waiting list. Oh, God, yeah, the waiting lists are very long. So others are unable to take advantage of getting help. And several people have taken advantage, misusing the system, which makes it harder for people who really are trying to build a better lifestyle for themselves as well as their family. Yeah, and that's the other thing. The waiting list is long, because you do have people's like, well, shoot, my mama moved out. So I'm getting it, right? And so you got people who just stay on there, and you got real people who need it, you know, seniors and disabled, they need it. And you passing the Section 8 down from one generation to the next. So that's crazy. Let's see. Okay, so you say sweet butter straight out of Cali. Yeah, but I heard it was less than that, less than 6%, but maybe some are going back. Tahada, you say, if I'm making 3 times my rent, I'll just buy a house. Exactly, right? And Mike Nicer says salaries don't match inflation at all, and it hasn't for a very long time. Pookie, how you doing? He says, this what y'all wanted, right? 2025, the year of FAFO. I don't know if this is what anybody wanted, but as I say, and I just think I need to be clear in my Kamala voice. Let's be very clear. I still would not have voted for Kamala. That don't say I voted for Trump, but I still would not have voted for Kamala. Kamala wasn't offering me nothing, right? And as I said too here, see, some of y'all really got to get very clear. You got to be very clear. Kamala knew all of this, and we heard her say it. I see people making this video of her go viral, I guess, when she was debating Trump. And she said, he's going to, sick the armies on you and this, that, and the other. Heifer, you knew that. You knew all of that, and you still was offering caca for people to vote for. You didn't say, okay, well, let me quit playing with the joy and vibes and let me give people something to vote for. You knew Trump was going to do that, and yet you still had Megan Thee Stallion up there, got twerking and all. You knew all of that, and you didn't say, all right, team, listen, I got 107 days to go. Let's really get something down so that people can get behind. Let's stop at all this mass immigration. Let's start the foolishness to talk about this mass deletion of babies and all this other nonsense I'm talking about. She knew all of that, and she did that to y'all, but y'all don't blame her. Y'all don't blame her. Y'all blame people, and mind you, Black people voted for her more than anybody else, but y'all still mad at the Black people who didn't. But y'all don't have no blame for her. She fed y'all to the wolves, and y'all let her go around the country selling y'all a funky book, talking about how I had 107 days. Heifer, you knew you had 107 days, but yet you still let them cart you out there like a pony. Talking about, I just want to bring the joy back into politics. We just missing the... Listen, lady, damn the joy, okay? Black Americans was asking for reparations. We were asking for a hate crime bill for ourselves, right? We were asking for real police reform. Remember when Kamala stood up there at Tyre Nichols' funeral and said, I'm going to go back to Washington and I'm going to tell Joe Biden to sign that George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. She had a good cadence going on and everything, and that heifer didn't go back there and do that. But y'all mad at us? Why you mad at us? We didn't have no power. You know why you mad? You mad because we didn't put her in office, and she was going to allow more illegal immigrants to come over here while she was kicking you in your tailbone and telling you, I just got some greens out the tub. And she wasn't even going to offer you no hot sauce to go with it. But you mad at us? I'm confused. Anyway, Angela Destiny, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mr. KX990, how you doing? Says they'll do anything but give us what's ours. He says, had we had our reparations, things would be different. Yeah. And had they stopped burning our towns, right? We'd be good. We'd be like, what's a welfare? What's a food stamp? Oh, we don't know nothing about that. Right? Because we had our own towns, but they kept effing with us. Excuse my French. Michelle, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hello world, what's going on with you? Said they need to cut out property taxes. Yeah, especially in Texas. I think Texas has the highest property taxes in the nation. So you might get you a $250,000 house, but the taxes, that's what, brings up the mortgage. Is like, for what you asking, I'll wait for the prices to go down in Cali, because I'm not going to give these people no $600, $500,000 for no house here in Texas. Not me. I go back to California before I do that. Well, we ain't got no hurricanes there. Don't believe media says they're using discriminatory tactics rather, to keep people from qualifying for housing. New York City is one of the worst places. Oh yeah, that's what they do, right? Brother Reddy says, get on YouTube University free. Come on now and learn a skilled trade and start a side hustle. You better tell them again. Absolutely. Sexy Texy, how you doing? He says, of course. Okay, Cynthia says, I think 2 years is not enough. Maybe 3 or 4 would be significant enough, but unlimited for our seniors and veterans. Yeah, seniors, veterans, disabled. Y'all good. Y'all don't, have to worry about it. Y'all get housing until you don't want it no more, right? Until you, whatever. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? And Angela says, do they not realize this will affect their people more because of them are on government assistance? They know, but they don't care. You know why they don't care? Because they not like us. What I mean by that is they not up there with the bourgeoisie, right? The ones that owns the means of production. Trump don't care about poor people, but the poor people who are white thought that he did. Trump, MAGA, they thought he did. So they was voting for him because they thought he was going to stick it to us, but they got it stuck to him first, right? They came up out of those government jobs and a whole host of things in this Section 8 and welfare reform. That's going to hit them the most. Because as a brother Phil talked about a lot, like, shoot, black people, we good. Unfortunately, we, know how to adapt in every situation. We know how to rub 2 dry beans together and some bubble gum and make a whole meal for the village, okay? Them people, not so much, right? They ain't used to all of that. But yeah, we're very resilient. We going to be all right. Absolutely. Let's see. Byron says that sounds good. And in theory, Sister Demetria, the seniors not having to pay rent. Yeah, I would love for them never have to pay rent ever again. Tiffy says people living paycheck to paycheck required to make 3 times the rent, while your able-bodied neighbor has no requirements and pay a quarter of the rent isn't right at all. Absolutely. Like I said, I have a lot of sympathy for people. I know people who need it. At one point in time, I needed it. I didn't get it, but I needed it. So I understand, but if you getting it for years and decades and ain't nothing wrong with you, that's wrong. Especially when there's a waiting list of people who's like, yeah, you need to move aside, Much better today. How you doing? Says people need to stop buying all that junk from the retail stores. Oh yeah, after a while, I ain't gonna have no choice. The way this economy is going right now, I know if y'all been in stores lately, even just the grocery store, go by the beef section. There is so much beef there. You'll see people browsing, and I'm one of them. That look all right, but I ain't paying the $30 for that. You know what I mean? My grandfather, God rest his soul, he would not eat chicken or turkey. Would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. You know why he wouldn't touch it? Because he grew up during the Great Depression. And it's all they ate was yard bird pimp. Okay. And they ate so much of it to where obviously when they got out of depression, he was able to do better and stuff. Grandma would make turkey for Thanksgiving and he like, I'm not eating that. But the point is, red meat, that's a luxury, right? And so we're going to get back to that, and you're going to start to see a lot of these retail stores, clothing and stuff. They're going to be like, oh, we got sales. It's like, oh, we ain't got no money. You giving it away? Because if you ain't giving it away, then I don't know what to tell you. Dano, how you doing? Says the Katrina documentary had me fuming. Oh, you and me both. I'm almost done. I was finishing the last installment. Man, I was so mad. Don't watch it if you're gonna, get really mad. And today's the anniversary, 20th anniversary of the start of Katrina. When it just devastated New Orleans. Paulie Powell, how you doing? Says no more Section 8 housing. Yeah, well, you know, they're going to put a time limit on it. That's what they want to do, right? So let's see. Sharon says seniors pay rent and where it used to go up $10 or $15 a month. Now it goes up $50, $60 a month. You can't forget about retirement. Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it? I just think they should be good. Cindy says I had a black man to tell me that he only dates women on Section 8. Yeah, because he funky, right? He funky and dusty. And so he know those women are probably silly. Come on in here. Come on in here. You know, and he ain't gonna pay no rent. He probably paid, you know, some of it. You know, he dusty. He ain't gonna pay all of it, and it's only a couple dollars anyway. He gonna lay his funky corn chip smelling feet up in there and not be conducive, productive, or no way, shape, or form. That's a dusty right there. And she is dustier if she allows him to do it. Wendell, how you doing? Says yes, cucumbers are $1.89 each, and on any given day, tomatoes are 39 cents, 55 cents each for aroma. Well, God, I'm truly offended. Robbery, anyways. You look at it, haven't eaten tomatoes since 2024. Yeah, I haven't wanted to eat tomatoes for some reason. It just, I don't know, something about tomatoes. I used to like them. Joe, how you doing? Says it will be tough on those younger people who don't have any skills. I hope they don't become like the ones in Chirac. I hope they pick up this book, and it ain't even that much on Amazon. I think I got this one like for $4 something in inflation, right? It might be a little bit more now, but even if it's $20, it'll be the best book you read. It'll be the best book you read, The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Get it for your children too. Matter of fact, make a day out of it, right? We're gonna sit around the campfire. We're gonna read, you know, The Miseducation of the Negro, like, you know, we used to do back in the day. S. Williams, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, how about going after Elon Musk with that same welfare energy hate? He's the biggest welfare queen in the whole entire world, but everybody just watch him collect and don't say jack squat. Oh, you're going to make me go over time. I'm not trying to do that. I got 4 minutes, but I want to say this. I don't buy nothing from Elon Musk. I have an X account, but I had it before he bought it, right? It was Twitter. I don't give money to Elon Musk. Now, you might have a conversation with people who are buying Teslas and all the other stuff. Now, Grok, if you use Grok, I don't use Grok. Yeah, you're giving money to him. I know the government gives him money, but you can easily stop Elon and all the other oligarchies by stop spending money with them. But see, people won't do that. So yeah, that's how you stop him. Stop spending money with him. Stop buying his car. Stop putting more money in his pocket. That'll solve all of that. I'm just saying. I love you though. Willie, how you doing? Says that's what people have money to spend, right? And we're just not there anymore, right? People do not have discretionary funds. Del Monte Green Beans, how you doing? Says this world is starting to turn it into the first RoboCop. Yeah, and people are just going along with it, right? Tisha says again, I can only speak for New York Community College's free books included for those who don't hold a degree between ages 25 and 55. So right now there's no excuse. There you go. And if you can go to college for free, shoot, if New York wasn't so high, I'd go back there and give me another degree. I don't know if I could though, but I got you. FBA Foundational Buck Broken, how you doing? Says Trump is delivering the pain to Black America. Well, it's the pain, unfortunately, we need, right? Because we've been comfortable for too long, resting on pretty, as Tyra Banks would say on America's Next Top Model, resting on pretty. And we've been told for a very long time that we need to get after it, do for self, right? Up your mighty nation, accomplish what you will. And here we are. Now we have to have that conversation. So, yes, indeed. All right, who else haven't I seen getting out of here? And Naima says, I did a trade. I'm thinking about going to give me another trade. Beverly, how you doing? Says voting for Democrats is giving green light to illegal immigration. Yep. Gerard, how you doing? Says if there are 500,000 homeless people today, how many will there be in 2 years when they get kicked off Section 8? There'll be quite a bit, you know. But again, that's where we need to pool our resources together, right? Stop giving these, because you got to remember too, during the Great Depression, they didn't have these big giant corporations and stuff that they have now, right? So stop giving our money to these giant corporations. Let's pool it into the mom and pop businesses and things like that and say, hey, oligarchy, y'all go make it do what it do. We're going to take care of ourselves, right? But we don't want to have that conversation. We'll figure it out. If our ancestors can do it right off the plantation with no food in their stomach, no clothes on their back, no shoes on their feet, what's wrong with us? I'm just saying. HB Supreme, how you doing? Says not true. Nobody is supporting a trans killer. What? Are you talking about that dude in Minnesota? Who doing that? Hi Cube, how you doing? Says they are forever poor and incompetent and do not do themselves. He says they think they think rather poverty is justice and that is a privilege and a given to get free money from others. Okay. Skipping on down. Kanisha, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Did I say that right? Kanaya Sharp, sorry. How you doing? All right, so I got to skip down, you guys. Let me see who I haven't seen. And Kanaya says, is Black folks been dealing with this? It's the other races that can't handle it. There you go. Right? We know how to make $1 out of 15 cents. Yes, we do. Brother Jonell, how you doing? Hope that you're doing well this fine Thursday evening. How's the weather in Chicago? Am I going to be jealous of you two? Is it getting cool there? Tyrone says, I saw a video of a lady living in Hawaii with a voucher from another city. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just playing. But see, there you go. You know, I don't know how she's pulling it off, but God bless her. Jay Sanders, how you doing? Said there's a natural program God created called marriage and structured two-parent household. Come on now. But the Black community don't know much about that, man. You preaching. You preaching. I'd break out my tambourine, but I'm about to go. But you're right. We don't want to have that conversation, right? To get together and make it do what it do. Tisha says jobs in the courts will be booming. Look there as well. Okay. Kadive, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says Trump is now allowing your rental history be a part of your mortgage loan, and they're no longer using FICO Vantage 4.0, so it won't be difficult to get a mortgage loan. So you can use your rent as credit. Yeah, I think they've been doing that in some instances. So yeah. Black Wolf, how you doing? Says Joe Biden got us here because he was such a horrible president. Brother Steven says, I've been working since 7th grade. I thought Section 8 was for pregnant mothers, right? Yeah, I've been working since I was 14 as well. In sales. That was my first job. Jacob, how you doing? Says, I got no criticism for my people who get Section 8. I got criticism for the people who are able-bodied, and you just really just you know, chilling. That's what I got a problem for. But everybody else, not so much. Not at all. No reparation, no vote. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Reddy says passing down Section 8 and not life insurance benefits is wild. Uh-oh. Man, you just open up another can of worms. We could be here all day for that one. But I should also say, too, that Black Americans are the most insured. We're just the most underinsured. That's a whole different conversation. But I got you, though. Brother Salam, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, what you call that lady? Crazy. All right, so just skipping down. Rose, how you doing? How you doing? Who else haven't I seen? Sweet Butter says Google lied. 2016 Kamala was noted as the first Indian American senator. I know, but people, you know, they want to die on the hill of her being a Black woman. She may not be at it there, but at one point in time, she didn't say she was, right? My auntie says Democrats and Republicans, neither one care about Black people, immigrants, foreigners, gain all the dollars for free. Yep. Glenn, how you doing? Says, thanks for sharing this topic. I appreciate it a lot. Well, I appreciate you for being here. Yes, I do. And teacher says, I do blame her because she should have been herself, whatever that was, and not play a role. She should have taken it more seriously. She counted on people hating Trump more than the issues at hand. There you go. Bingo. Off to Pluto, how you doing? Take me with you. It says New Jersey is higher than Texas. As far as the foreclosures, is that what you're saying? Okay. Beth, how you doing? Says, amen, sister. Who else we got on here? Yvette, how you doing? Says they need to have freehold, not leasehold. This country is ridiculous with forever tax. You ain't lying. It's like, at what point do I get to stop? You know, especially like on housing and stuff. There's a lot of people, especially our people, losing a house over taxes. It's like, but the house is paid off. Well, we're going to take your house. It's crazy. They shouldn't be able to do that. No reparation, no vote. He says, nah. He said he wanted to reward people who bought their house when values were low. Now they own their homes outright and property taxes are too. Okay. And Cameron Ryder, I'll just say Cameron, how you doing? Says property taxes need to go. Get those taxes from local stores. Yep. But yeah, some of the property tax is crazy, especially here in Texas, and it sounds like in New Jersey as well. Cynthia says VP Harris campaign raised over 1.5 billion in donations. Later, 20 million in the hole. He says, I bet them white folks got their shares along with a few Democrat shills. What a big, beautiful money grab and payday for them. Yeah, she paid them more than she paid black people because they was crying about it. Steven says, Demetri, if you were the queen of the country, no Senate, no Congress, what you say goes, what would you change? I would change term limits. I would change extremism on the far left and the far right. I would say if you're running for office, you have to really lead from the middle, right? Not we're gonna do all or nothing over here. You have to be in the middle where the common sense is, because I think that's where the people get the help. Not when you're too far to the right and left. You're too far to the right and left. That's all about the people, the politicians, right? They don't care about the people. So those are some of the things that I would change. And I would definitely say, write my peoples a check. Yes, I said my peoples. All right. So who else haven't I seen? Salam said, did my father eat pork? Are you crazy? My daddy been a Muslim since since he was 19. Okay. That is 81 years old. Do my daddy eat pork? Hell no. No. Did your daddy eat pork? Michelle, did I say hello to you, YOLO? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Radical resistance said a deodorant? I think he meant a Democrat. President will get in office and reverse everything Trump has implemented probably. Yep. So they're just going to be playing back and forth, tug of war. You know, and the people are going to suffer for it, right? Now, I'm not saying some things don't need to be changed. I think that there probably doesn't need to be a lot of things that's changed. But hopefully it's changed to really help people this time, because neither party was helping anybody. So yeah, Doug, you say I go to the ATM, insert my card, and the screen says, sorry, you're experiencing a hard time. Damn, that's crazy. Tracy says, Demetria, that part, who's Elania? You said, who's Elania? You mean Elon Musk? Vanessa, how you doing? Shamarique, what's going on with you? Charmanique, how you doing? I always jack your name up. So sorry. How you doing? Sweet Butter says Mississippi grog messing up environment. Yep, sucking all the water and everything. Brenda says Section 8 was meant for seniors and disabled. These baby mamas and baby daddies better find a job today, right? Corey, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you for that. He says we got money for Israel, but we should have money for us. Yep, and this is what the Trump presidency is waking people up to as well, right? You ever on X, you see people having that conversation, man, it gets deep. They're saying stuff that, most people would be afraid to say now, right? People are just out in the open. It ain't even really us necessarily. It's some of us, but a lot of them is them folks, like they going ham. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Israel. And it's like, carry on. Geechee Dan Buford, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. I'm just trying to get everybody before I leave. I done went overtime. Ernest say, I'm not voting blue no matter who. Same. Me either. Fair use, how you doing? Hope that you're well. A train, how you doing? Says, the sad thing is a lot of people on Section 8 don't have a resume in the first. A lot of them don't have educational work experience, being on it too long. Yeah, but they said they were going to train people, right? So there's that. Well, I mean, Yehuda, how you doing? Says, well, it's time to start fast praying, prepare your soul and body for what's to come. And, fast, pray, and get the work, right? Because faith without the works is what? Dead. For those of y'all who go to Bible, just want to put that on out there. Y'all going in. I don't know if is a bottom. Carter, how you doing? It says, it's funny. You think just because someone on Section 8, they must be chilling. I didn't say that. Did y'all hear me say there's people who are on Section 8 that got under the table jobs and doing stuff? I didn't say that. But there's some people who are chilling. But I didn't say that. There's a lot of people who, really need to be there. But then there's some people who's like, yo, you don't need to be there for 3 generations, right? So please do not mistake me. I know what I said. I'm getting old, but I have a good memory still. T. Austin, how you doing? Says Kamala was just a puppet for the Dems. She wasn't going to run anything just to face. They all are, to be honest, right? Baraka, you say Texas is taking property tax bills before the courts trying to get them removed, abolish the taxes. I might stay if they do. I'm just saying. Spiritual vibrations, how you doing? Says now that jobs no longer have to hire black people, how will these new rules affect black people who may not find employment easily? Well, again, that's why we have to have a conversation. Let's create our own jobs. We've been told to do that for the longest. Again, our ancestors did it. Was the reason why we can't do it. JP, how you doing? Says nobody can even get jobs in most America if they wanted one. Got to create our own. Corey says, I'd rather my tax dollars going to Americans getting Section 8 than Israel, Ukraine, and corporations getting tax breaks. Now, I will agree with that. Mahaya, how you doing? So I think that this long-lasting Section 8 was meant to keep us poor. Yeah, there's a lot of people who say that as well. Mr. Clay, how you doing? Says, where's the aliens? I'm tired of paying taxes. They supposed to be on their way late October, early November. So, just keep waiting. What they coming here to do? I don't know. I got to the bottom. Can you believe that? Can I believe it? Yes, no reparations, no vote. Ownership. A train says there's people on Section 8 that pay $150 and won't pay. That's disgusting. Yeah, how you getting evicted and your rent is $150? Sweet Butter says trucker, buy them trucks. They gotta go. Yeah, and the trucking industry is going through a whole lot as well. So anyway, listen, I've been here over time, 10 minutes. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I don't know if I'll come back here tomorrow. If I do, it'll be a miracle. I came back here on Friday last week, so I may, right? But in the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your evening. If you guys found value in what we did and you enjoyed the conversation, there's ways to donate to the channel, super chats and all that. But at the very least, please like and subscribe. If you don't do nothing else, I will be back here for sure on Sunday with Mr. Donovan Sadiq. So y'all have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon. Oops, let me move this. Peace.